My name's Fred Schlatter. I'm a fine artist as well as a sign maker. My approach to sign making is probably a little different than most sign makers has been, in that my approach is to carve signs that border on being fine art in themselves and to produce something that is not just the run-of-the-mill. I hand carve my signs. They're sculpted pieces of artwork. The process generally begins by being contacted by a client. I will then design the sign. Once I've designed it, that determines the shape, the size, and then I can begin gluing the panel together. I then sand the panels down and I put some light paint on them so that I can see my drawings. And I transfer the drawings onto the panel. When the sign is all drawn, the next step is to route the sign. I start by taking a router and following all of my graphics and my letters, so that wherever I had an outline drawn on the panel, I then route around those areas, leaving the letters. Then with a bigger router bit, I'll go in and I'll remove all the negative material between the letters. Once that's done, then I can begin sculpting the sign and grind out or texture or carve out the backgrounds. I go in with a ball grinder and I begin grinding out little scallops out of the area of the background. This gives a nice texture to the background. Then is when I begin going in with die grinders and I can begin sculpting and shaping the letters and any graphics that would be on it. Usually the sculpting of the sign will require a lot of handwork. Like hand filing and shaping, sanding and getting everything prepped and ready. Once the sign is all sculpted, then I go into the painting process. These signs have to be very durable. They're going to be outdoors, so I use very high-grade sign enamels. Those areas that are going to be opaque in color will get several coats of primer. I will very often at that point go in with stains for any background work where I want the natural wood to show through. If the sign is going to incorporate gold leaf, you then have to prepare the areas with the gold size, which is a varnish, and that sets up until it becomes the right tackiness to apply the gold coming through it. The type that I most often use is called patent gold, and the sheets come attached to a tissue. If, on the other hand, let's say you're going to have an incised V-notched letter, in those cases I use what's called glass gold. You can pick it up with static electricity and you begin brushing it down into the groove. I also do a lot of wrought steel work that will match the sign. And basically those are the steps involved in producing a sign. I feel at once awed and humbled that I've been given this gift to be able to do something that I really love, and I realize that it springs from a source bigger than myself, and so I feel very fortunate.